Hey guys, Recruiter Preston here, and apologies in advance for the different set and not wearing a shirt, taking a little break here, cooling off from the heat, very much enjoying nice little afternoon swims before dinner, after work, just a great way to reset. But regardless, I want to make this video for you, and it's something that I can deeply relate to, and I think that it can hopefully connect with you, and you can relate to it as well. And so I think whether you are striving for a career, you're striving to start a business, you are in a business right now and you're struggling, I think the one thing that is constantly overlooked and not really talked about, but it's that one thing that can prevent you from finding significant success in anything that you do is what I call the hump or the wall, right? So think about this from your own experience. Perhaps you're working for yourself right now, you're a solo recruiter, or you run a small business or agency, and then there's some days you just don't want to work, or you feel like there's just some weeks you don't want to work, or you just kind of want to give up and change everything and do something else, or just stop entirely, and then you do it. Or perhaps maybe you are having a job, or you once upon a time were aspiring for a career, and you just kind of woke up one day and you're like, you know what, I just hate my job, or I just I want to do this instead, I want to do that instead, I want that instead, and you just stop and you just give up and you quit. I realized not do that, and to stay focused and to really show up when you don't want to, that I think distinguishes a lot of people who are killing it, crushing it, people who are high performers, people who have really successful careers, than those that are plateauing or getting pushed around, or their lives or careers feel like it's just going around in circles because you have no clear direction. What I've learned is that whether you have a job, whether you have a career, or you run your own business, every day is not going to feel like an absolute high. You're not going to feel like you're crushing it. In fact, most days you'll feel like you're just doing the same boring stuff over and over and over again. You don't see any results. You're kind of depressed that you don't see any results. You're getting frustrated you don't see any results, and you're just going to end up succumbing to those emotions and feelings and just stopping altogether. And when you analyze anyone who've reached that level of success, whether they're in athletics or the music industry or business, anything, they stuck with one thing. In this day and age, in 2024, where we also have just access to so much technology and so much noise.
Did you just start your own recruitment agency and are struggling getting your own clients? Are you thinking about starting your own agency but afraid to make the jump? Do you have your own clients but you're struggling to find the perfect candidates fast? Do you have a full-time job and want to do recruitment part-time to make more money on the side and have no idea how to? If you answered yes to any of these questions, please consider joining our private community. It is a trust-based community where recruiters around the world can support, collaborate, and work together on placements all around the year consistently. In this community, you will directly have access to the real open jobs of my team and of our members, and you will also have the chance to access trainings, events, giveaways, and much more. If you are part of this community, I communicate and work with you as if you were on my own team, and I'll do whatever I can to do a placement together with your client or candidate. So if you're struggling to get your own clients or candidates and you want a way you can make sure you can be busy all year round by having access to many more open roles, then this is something you need to look into. This is open to people around the world and is open for recruiters in every industry and experience levels, as we will always have a good number of variety of open jobs across sectors, markets, and industries. I'm really happy to say that within the first 30 days, we have already have a new member with minimal recruiting experience do his first placement that had a total fee of almost $30,000 US, and we are working hard to do many more this year. If you are interested and excited, there are only a limited number of spots open, so make sure you sign up quick at patreon.com/recruiterpreston. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Discord. We can set up a time to chat. See you on the other side.
And I think in this day and age, in 2024, where we also have just access to so much technology and so much noise, it's so easy, more now than ever, to get new ideas on what you want to do, start different types of businesses, start different types of careers. And if you keep going down and succumbing to this wall, where you start something, you hit this wall, you quit, you give up. You start something again, you hit this wall, you quit, you give up. You're never going to find or reach that level of success that you want to. And I can, of course, relate to this as well with the previous jobs I had in my life, or even like the previous business or startup I had. I woke up one day and it was more of a mutual thing with my co-founder, but then we're like, you know what, maybe we should do this. And in retrospect, I'm like, what would have happened if we actually decided to remain all in, to go all in, and to keep pushing forward? Perhaps I would still be doing that business right now. But the longer that I'm working for myself and in recruiting, this is the longest stretch in my life where I really dedicated focus on one thing for almost a decade. I've never done that with anything in a career or business or an interest level for my whole life. And so it's kind of crazy. But I also can tell you honestly, I get these thoughts just like you every day, especially when things are tough. Like, why am I doing this? Should I give up? And it's just up to us to put those aside, to compartmentalize, to be aware and be conscious of what you're thinking, how you're feeling, but to really put those aside and to show up. And I think a lot of people always look for that secret, always look for that edge. Honestly, like, this is the edge, because when I do this, when I'm doing recruiting, I chose to do it long term. And I chose to make a promise to myself that when things got difficult, I was going to push through no matter what, no matter how hard and cold the winters are. I'm going to push through and show up. And even if it's not as painful, even if I just didn't want to feel like working, maybe I had a great month or a great week and I'm like, I can take Friday off, I can take Thursday off, but I kept working. And I chose to make a habit in the first year not to give into that at all. And what happened is that maybe 3 to 6 months into the first year, those became habits that now stand to the test of time. So it's now much easier for me to see these thoughts of the wall or the hump and to just simply disregard it and push through, because I was able to build years and years and years of good habits and tough skin to be able to just push through. And I think the more I talk to people, the more I learn from people who are successful, that's what they do. They just show up and do the work. And I think there is, of course, like another kind of point of view where, if you're going down something that's just not working, you don't have the right vehicle, you obviously want to change. But I think if you find the right vehicle, if you find the right job, if you find really anything with hard work and consistency and choosing to break through that hump, you can find a level of success that you'd be surprised. And so all I want to share with you is that whether you're starting out or whether you're 10 years in, we all have that same feeling. I think what makes the winners separate from what people who are not winning, or people who are successful, separate from the non-successful, is we just choose to react differently from when these humps and walls mentally, psychologically come. There, of course, there are days where I'm like, I just need to take a couple hours and take a breather. There are also some days where I'm just super ill. I'm like, I can't physically work. But aside from that, I try my best to just show up and push through, because if you're able to do that, even though you don't feel like you're doing anything huge that day, just the fact that you showed up and you broke and you've reached a new level of just mental, psychological toughness, you'll feel good about that. And you're like, you know what? I can do this. It's easier to push through these walls now. It's easier to push through when things are difficult. And everything is like a habit, right? Kind of like, think of anything that you learn how to do in life. It always starts out tough. And I think working for your business is the same muscle. It's the same process you got to go through. In the beginning, it feels tough. And these new emotions that you want to give up, that you are overwhelmed, it feels tough. These are things that you just got to practice, like building a muscle in the gym, to be able to face it head on, be aware of it, and then still push through. And then when it happens again in the future, you're like, you know what? Wow, this is actually a lot easier. I know exactly how to handle this, and it pushes through. But I hope you're able to connect with that. And if you do go through these things, a couple of things that I do help, right? So number one, it's really important to have a goal, right? So like, why are you working so hard? Why are you working so hard in your job or your business? What goal do you have? You want to take your family on a vacation? You want to buy yourself a nice materialistic watch or a handbag or whatever, right? Have a crystal clear idea of a goal, because that in a small way can help you push through the tough moments, right? Maybe find something with a little more substance. Maybe you want to give back to your wife or husband. You want to help your mom or dad, or you want to, contribute back to society if you make a little bit more money. Like, whatever it is, be crystal clear on having a goal so that it can really be a carrot at the end of the stick for you to keep pushing and taking those steps forward when things get difficult. The second thing is also have a really great accountability partner. So whether it's like your personal spouse, whether it's your boyfriend or girlfriend, or really good buddies or friends, people who are supportive that you are going to be working longer hours, you'll be less successful because you are striving to live an extraordinary life of short-term, more stress and more work for hopefully long-term freedom and fulfillment, right? And no matter how successful you are, I think if you have a family or friends that are completely against what you're doing, you're climbing a really, really, really long and difficult and tough mountain. And I think that if you're able to really cultivate and form relationships that support you, that egg you on, on forward in a positive way that pushes you, that motivates you, inspires you, it's going to keep helping you push through those difficult moments as well. So have a goal, have an accountability partner, right? Embrace the journey. I think getting to the top of the mountain, achieving your goal really doesn't feel as good if you didn't go through tough moments, right? Can you imagine anything you accomplished? You would remember those days of, oh, I practiced and I tried and I failed, but then you practiced and you kept going on for weeks or months or years and you finally did it, and then it felt amazing because you went through that hardship. So my final tip is embrace the journey and write down on a sheet of paper every day, or type it up on Google Docs or something, just a reflection of the day, how you're feeling. Not so much like the tasks that you need to do, it's more like a mental, psychological checkup. And you can almost be like your own therapist. Just putting it out on paper and reading it or hearing it makes you feel better and makes you more aware of your emotions, so that you can be more in tune of them the next day or the next week. Once it happens again, it really heightens your sensitivities so that, when it happens again, you recognize, okay, I'm going through a tough moment right now. What can I do to basically get through this or push through this, whether it's accountability, reminding myself of like why I started your goal, make your goals deep and when filled with substance. I think that can certainly help you. So I think it's so easy to go on these social media platforms and see people who are quote unquote winning, but we're all human at the end of the day, and we all go through tough moments. And I think the people who've been it longer or understands how to manage those emotions when they come up, I think that's so much of a bigger edge you're actually overlooking right now. And if you're able to really tweak this, be aware of it, face it head on, not all of the fancy plugins and technology and tools can't find success for you. You got to put in that work, and you got to really show up every day and learn the masteries of the skills yourself. And you have to remain mentally strong no matter what's happening on your desk. And so looking back at my career, it's one of the few things that I held myself to very seriously. Like, don't give up, don't quit. Do this for a year, be all in, and then you learn how to recognize burnouts. You learn how to recognize like when things are tough, and now, wow, I'm a lot more equipped with the tools on how to exactly handle these situations that are happening. And next time, not going to faze me. I will crush them, and I'll keep moving forward. So guys, hope this helped you. If it did, please drop down a comment below and let me know how you interact with burnouts, or you interact with the hump or the wall. Let's crush it together. Let's push through the walls as they happen, and let's keep leveling up and finding more success. See you on the next one.